Hello everybody, my name's Billy Joe Ray Jim Bob, and I've got a story I need to tell you guys. I'm kind of getting tired. You see, I've got some deformities, and I'm tired of people making fun of me, so I'm hoping that you two will help people understand what I'm going through, because you can see I'm suffering, man. I've got some deformities and I'm suffering. But anyway, it all started, and this is my story, and y'all gonna have to forgive me because it might get a little bit emotional for me. So I'm gonna have my hanky here and be ready for it, but y'all just forgive me. But anyway, the story started back in the late 1970s or the early 80s. And when I was in the Navy, I was in the submarine duty, and I was on a nuclear powered submarine. And it's all top secret, so I can't tell you a whole lot, and I might get in trouble. But anyway, we was down in the ocean one time, and I can't even tell you what ocean it was, but we was down in there deep, man. And we were deep. And we started having trouble with the reactor. Well, now I'm down in the engine room, down in the reactor room, along with my best buddy. And I was a non-essential personnel, so that's why I lived to tell about this story. But anyway, what happened is we had a main feed booster pump locked in a closed position. Now what that thing did is it provided cooling water into the reactors to keep them from going too critical. It kept them to where we could control them. Well, it locked up, man. And we couldn't bust that puppy loose for nothing in the world. So it started, the temperature of the reactor just started going up, man. And that reactor got to be like cherry red. So the first alarm went off, and then you got a couple of alarms that goes off on that thing, but the first one tells you got a problem, man. You got a big problem. So we're trying to bust that thing open, get that water in there. But when that alarm goes off, that means all non-essential personnel got to get out of there. Well, that was me and a bunch of us other guys. We got out of there, man. And when we got out, we had to lock that door down. Excuse me, I might get a little choked up. Y'all just got to hang in there with me. But anyway, what happened next was that we're looking through the glass. We're looking through the window, and all our buddies are in there just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, man. They trying to get that reactor under control, but they started getting redder and redder and redder. And then that second alarm went off, man. And what that second alarm means is you lock the door down and nobody's going in and ain't nobody coming out, man. And my friend was in there. So those guys are scrambling. They're giving their lives to their country, man. But anyway, that thing started getting hot. We looked at the temperature gauge, man. That temperature gauge was over 160 degrees, man. And all of a sudden, the world came to an end, man. The top of that reactor blew up. Plutonium rods were coming out of that thing like a giant popcorn popper, man. Rods were going anywhere. And there were guys up on that reactor, man. Excuse me. They were up on that reactor. I'll never forget this. And the plutonium rods went through a man and pinned them to the overhead. I couldn't take my eyes off of it, man. None of us could. We were looking through there. We were in horror of what was going on, man. And the meat on these people, these buddies of ours, the meat on their flesh was boiling and melting off of their bodies as they're sitting there dying up on that overhead. So I started looking around for my buddy. Where's he at, man? I couldn't find him. Then all of a sudden I found him, man, and it was horrible. Excuse me. It was horrible, man, because he's crawling across off the floor, man. The meat melting off of his bones, man. His clothes were half burned away, and his skin's bubbling right there, man. And knots are popping up, and he's crawling towards me. And I look at him, he looks up and he sees me, and he starts crawling towards the door, man. There's nothing I can do, man. But anyway, he's crawling to that door, and he starts to pull himself up. And he gets up, and I can see him through the window. We're looking face to face, and these knots are popping out, and he gets this big knot right here, starts to pop out. It's horrible, man. And it kept growing, and it turned into a hand. and it was wiggling, man, and had fingers on it. And he looked at me in my eyes, and I looked at him in his, and he waved goodbye 3 times. 3 times, man. I'm sorry, man. I gotta stop. I'll finish this later. I can't go on.